Hello, welcome everybody. And so welcome back to another video. This is going to be different from the previous one because normally we would do a development session on the game Pixel Painter Challenge. Challenge? No. But I'm taking a step back from it to game development, whatever. So maybe in the future as well, you will not see me work on the game anymore, at least for a while. I'm going to work on other projects, something something I'm a bit more familiar with, so I can try out some more relevant technology, some more relevant things for me, explain it a bit more, and really, I don't know, skills, and hopefully spread them and share them with you. But for that's not really ready yet. So for now, I was thinking to maybe show off some of these development like coding platforms that you can sometimes use. There's another one as well. But I know here, this one, the coding game, there's now a new event, which I definitely want to do. And so I want to see if we can do this together. I can't promise that we will finish it completely now because I don't know how big or how how difficult it is, how long of a challenge it is, but it's going to be interesting. So let's get going. First of all, maybe some information about my interest in these platforms or not. I think these platforms are interesting and they can definitely challenge you. The downside is that they're not very realistic. In that sense that they typically focus on very well, not very simple problems. You have like the ones where you have like, okay, you have to reverse a word, find the longest string in a word, uh, like or the longest substring or the longest palindrome in a sequence of characters. That's not something you have to do. That's not something you typically do in real life. They focus more on like real algorithmic problems and not so much on like clean code and architecture setup, which is definitely the biggest issue in day-to-day life. Another downside they typically have is that you have to write everything in a single file. That's also not something you would do in real life, seriously. So in that sense, like that's why I don't like it, but it can be very interesting. This platform, the coding game, they make things funny because fun because you always have this kind of visualization of what you're doing and always puts it into like some kind of game form. That being said, this is even more limited in that sense that it's typically just like a to kind of optimize. Um, Only 8 days left. Um, so yeah, I guess it's good, but it's typically always an optimization problem. It's typically very much the same. There are different challenges on here. I can maybe show you another time. But yeah, so it's fun to do it from now and then, but don't focus on this and like try focusing and like solving this kind of issues and say like, oh, if I'm good at this, then I will find a job and I'm good at programming. No, definitely not. Okay, but let's get going. So this one, one of your agents to the coordinates 6-1 and the other to 6-3. The game is played on the grid. Each player controls a team of agents. Objective 1, the move action. Each one of your agents occupy a tile on the grid. They cannot occupy the same tile. Each agent has a unique agent ID. Each agent can perform one move operation per turn. By printing a move XY action to the standard output, you can tell an agent to move one tile towards the coordinates. So assign an action to an agent, prints the standard output its agent ID from my right action, then two separated the two separated by a semicolon. For example, one to move 12-3. You must send in only one line per agent on your move team. Grid and agent data are provided to your programs as an input. Okay, so what it also doesn't say, but I assume based on the image here, is that you always have to go it's an orthogonal moving system, so you can't go diagonally. Otherwise, I assume you'll be able to move like this. Okay, so the nice thing about this kind of platform as well is that it always does things in a very easy way. We're fighting a boss, for instance. If you say play my code, then I don't think it actually do anything because I say hunker down, which doesn't do anything. So the goal in the first level is just to move in here. Now, of course, I lose now because I didn't do anything. Not very interesting, but okay. So, I guess for the first, which is a bit stupid. Okay, so first of all, these games always typically already start with player ID 01. Doesn't really matter too much at the moment. Data, total number of agents in the game. That's just a loop. So it starts off with initializing a lot of information, which here is like a loop. Then it reads all the data you have about this agent and doesn't do anything with it. This is typically something that you want to store, I guess. Unique identifier for this agent, player identifier, number of turns between each of these agent's shots. Okay, here's a cooldown optimal range. We're not gonna use most of this yet. Width of the map, height of the map, x coordinates, 0 is on the left edge, here, 0 is on top, so it starts here, 0, 0, or here, actually 0, 0, and then it goes down to width and yeah, whatever. Yeah, agent data counts. Okay, yes, and here is the actual game loop. Yeah, so this is the setup, and here is the actual agent. Agent ID, agent ID. So I'm gonna start off with creating a class. I'm not sure if I can do a record already in here. Yes, okay, so it does support records, but that's okay. I don't need records. Private class, agent, anyone class, only public. Yeah. Yeah, big text protected. So that's another thing. I mean, like, because in the same file, it doesn't matter whether it's public or private. You can't create a private class, which is a bit weird. I think maybe you can make a private nested class. Yes, so that's what I was thinking of, but I don't like it. Does an agent needs to know its own ID? That's the first question. I will do it now. ID, private, location. Why is that important? It will help, trust me. And this actually can be a record. This is exactly what records are made for, because a location cannot change. You can just create a new. Okay. Location. Location. Number of turns before the agent can shoot. I'm not gonna store that one yet. I'm just gonna do minimal required. Here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna either say private location target 1 location, and I say the targets are. I have to go back to my information. How do I go back to my information again? There was a way here to minimize it. Yes. The move action. Yes. Okay. In this, they can move one of your instruments 6-1 and 6-3. I hope it's XY based and not YX. But it doesn't really say it. And honestly, well, it does matter because I read it in. So if I would read it in incorrectly, then final. Of course, yes. Okay, yes. I'm making mistakes. And then I do final set of location targets equals set of target one and target two. And the goal is, so what am I thinking? I'm thinking to just steer each agent count, and then I'm gonna say something as in like find closest location, move to move to location. That's the goal. And so how can I do that? I can here, for instance, say this is a public int distance to location other, which of course also be final. I have a tendency to finalize everything, and then what do I say? I just return other.x minus, well, x minus other.x. I do a map apps. This is a typical Manhattan distance. Okay, so I have something to calculate the distance between two locations. I still need to create a let me see. So this is also a thing. What they do, that's actually a very, very interesting thing, is that you read in all data over and over and over again. So typically it's not even, well, is it a good idea to keep track of your own agents? Well, and to keep track of your own status? Maybe, but you might miss out on things. For instance, if there are enemies and you get splashed down with water. So cooldown, you probably can calculate. Splash bombs, you can calculate yourself. The witness is something a bit more difficult. You can try to take that into account as well, but typically not that good of an idea. But there might be things as also like reasons why you can't move to a spot or something maybe in the future. Who knows? So that's why what does it do? It always just creates a new one. That's just what it does. So then what would you do? You would here do a, I think I'm just going to make a list out of it. Yeah, a list would be fine. Actually makes this whole agent count even redundant if you think about it. List agents, active agents equals new. Because the thing is, this is actually yes, you probably want to create your agents here, and then you want to update it somehow, which is it's a bit nasty, but now I don't actually player ID of this agent. This is more to read in. Ah, yes, this is all agents, whether they're yours or your enemies as well, because you might be player 0, yeah, and then the player ID is either 0, yours, or 1, the opponent's one. So, and then you know what to do. Anyway, agent count, where does agent count come from? Agent ID. Okay. So okay. So actually, this also could be your enemy agents. So probably have to make. I'm probably gonna split this out. Say that you have. I knocked my headset. Well, that's not a smart thing to do. Um, so you probably want to keep two maps, but for now it doesn't matter. New list. Something I also tend to do now is actually use the var in these kind of things. Here as well, this actually can typically be a var. I don't use it that often. So in here I will use var. In this case I will not, because this is a set of location, and based on this line you only know it's a set of something. What is set of? You would have to look at a different line, so you can't deduct it from the same line. Here you can easily see that the target one is a location on the same line, so the fact that location is in front of it doesn't add much information to it, because you can read it right after. That's why I'm okay with removing the type information, and makes it a bit easy. Here as well, like the active agents, what is it? Well, it is an array list. Simple. And actually that makes it even a bit type easier, because if I would say this is a list, yeah, here's an array list, and I already do some kind of, not type erasure, because this compiler of course knows, but you can't take advantage of it anymore, because now for instance it's a list, not an array list. Not very big difference, but if I would, for instance, written a collection here, then I would make it more difficult on myself. So this is an active agent, and I say active agent at new agent, and then I say agent ID and new location xy. Number of alive agents controlled by you. Okay, and so then it wants for each agent, and I can simply say, so that's why this is actually, it makes sense that you have this separate counter, because these are your agents, these are all agents that are still in the game. So then I just say active agents dot get index, and I'm not going to put in any security or whatever to make sure they don't move to the same spot. I don't care about that. I've seen a setup. I think there's only one scenario. It's only one game, so I don't need to do anything for it. So I can just say targets dot stream, and I say map. No, not map. I wanna. I wanna take. I could do a map. The point if I do maps map. Doesn't even matter. I do a distance. I'm pretty sure the distance will come in handy later. But so I have my current agent. I have an agent. What do I want to do? I want to move him closer. How am I going to do this? If you're at 0, 0, you have to go to 6, 6. And for instance, you would say, move. And then I am going to do what am I going to do? I'm going to create a class called action or something. And here I would have, first I'm going to say final agent. And I will do agent dot ID. I made it private, yes. Yeah, I assume there is no lombok. That's a bit annoying. See, and that's another one of those things. I mean, like typically you would write a getter, you would write a setter. I'm just gonna make this like this. And why is that? Because I don't care, so I can easily exit it. It's comma, space, plus. And then not hunker down, of course, but this will be the move command. And that's what I'm trying to figure out now. How am I gonna do this best? You need some kind of path. Action. No, I'm using a class. Move. Action is a bit too generic. Public. The move is currently just a bit of placeholder. Maybe it was command or something. Maybe command or action. Command. Command. String and I say move. And I say final agent, final location. Okay, and I say return move. And then here is where the magic happens. And here I would say plus. And this of course has to be static. So I can easily say command is with double M as well. Command move agent and that is target. And then here I have to say final location target equals target. There's no gets. I can really be stupid now. And why is that? Because I can just say the first agent will move to the first location, the second agent will move to the second location. This is really not ideal. But I mean, like, this is also very easy, and that's why the thing you have to always build it up. Don't overcomplicate things in these games because the next level might require you to do something completely different. So, henceforward, that's what we're gonna do. So, agent location, and I say final location source equals, and then actually this will be the target. I'm gonna call this target. Move agent to target. Okay, that's good. And then source.x. Now we're first gonna move along the x thingy. So I say if source.x. Yeah, I think x, yes. This is a bit weird because it's only one letter, so it makes it a bit weird. If source of x is not equal to target x, then I say return move, and I have to do source of x minus or plus, and that's another thing I have to do a direction. Is it final int direction equals? I guess what you could, for instance, do is here in the method create like a vector which expresses it, but I guess that's okay for now. Of course, you don't have a pair. You could use the location for it again. For instance, you could say you could take the difference of two locations instead of just having a distance, which is like, oh, this is a distance. You cannot say like, okay, what is the actual difference, and then it will express that as well. That actually might be very interesting to do as well. Would be something like this. Public location. It's a bit it's weird. It's called location. It should be more of a vector because location its case can be negative. So what I typically would do in a record is I would write something like location, and I would say using the validate from lang 3, Apache lang 3 is not negative. I'm not sure if that's really a method, but something like this. It's true. It does seem to fill it out. Inclusive between. This one is true. Inclusive between. I thought I had something for negative. But anyway, you can say is true. Y larger than or equal to 0. I don't think it actually has validate, so it doesn't matter too much. Is this an invocation to a constructor? Uh, so see, quick fix, can I import? Do you support that? Oh, maybe it does support it, so then I can show you a bit more how I would write code. Because in the end, this is just Visual Studio Code. So, finite is signable from is true, matches pattern, no, not blank, not empty, no, validate index. There is no. I could I could also do like an exclusive between and inclusive between to actually check that it matches the width and the height of the field. Manhattan distance as well. So technically, this distance actually Manhattan distance. That's fine. Don't care. You here have the where was it? The screen. You see the screen. X Y tile type. Oh no, you have a tile type. So this is basically a map that you're generating here. So this is becoming interesting. But you have the width and the height, and that's something you could use as well. But then you have to validate it somewhere in a object. That's a bit difficult. I'm writing twice the same statement, which is not smart. This is why. So for instance, this is what I would typically write. So that's why this is the location is not good. I would do a record. So I have to create a different record, even though it will also be an X and a Y. Is it a distance, not a distance? Is it a it's not, is it a path? It's not a path. Is it how to call this one? It's a difference between two locations. So it kind of is a vector, but a vector is only a number. Is it a offset? Is it naming things can be difficult. If I'm here and I have to go there, then this is the minus or the plus 6. If I'm here, then it'd be minus 6 or minus. I'm also thinking it doesn't really, by when you're moving, you can tell you need to move one tile towards the given coordinates. I'm curious what happens when you actually give a location that's further away than just one. Will you just take a single move? Can I simply just say agent 0 go to 6-1? Because in that case, this can be very simple. Let's try that for now. I'm gonna try that. So I say move, and I just say plus target of x plus space plus target of y. The question is indeed how smart this actually is. This has to go away as well. And typically, you can also see here the game objective failed. Is that because it couldn't compile? Where's my output? Let's open it. Yes, I had a compile error. Let's not write two lines in one time. Excuse me, I'm pretty sure I did. You can normally see picture. No, see. Okay, so he's complaining that this package does not exist, even though he did help me to write it. So I typically don't write this in this kind of cases. And again, this is why you will see that like just writing a lot of this code doesn't really help you becoming better in finding your style or even finding or writing good code. In that sense that okay, this is one, not actually I. In that sense that yeah, I normally would do validation, but in this case, like I don't do validation. Why? Because it just becomes so difficult. You can't even use the libraries you want to use. You can't really do much. So it turns out that you can just give commands to go to your actual target. You don't have to do it step by step yourself. They will just do it for you. That's the fun thing, or the interesting thing. I mean, like, so you didn't really write your own mapping or whatever. Just in arena, that's how you do it. Yeah, of course I always win because the fight is always the same. It's just like, I mean, I can say show here on this one, but it's all exactly the same. The objective is the same typically, and that's what you will see in the next one. How do I go to the next one? Do I go back? Start? I don't know. I already wrote this. Is my code still here? Yes. Okay. Test in arena. I know. I win. Send game parameters to IDE. It will erase your current play configuration. What is my play configuration? I hope it's not this part here that I wrote for half an hour, which, I mean, it would have been very easy. You just does a shoot action. I mean, like this, like I've written a lot of code which actually was not necessary. I mean, like the whole thing with location or whatever, because it's just like, oh, agent one, you just move there, you move there. So we're on to the next step, which is probably just still the wood 3 leak. And now we're gonna learn how to shoot. Shoot each other with water guns. Shooting an agent will increase witness. If an agent witness reaches 100 or more, they are removed from the game. Number of witness adds to the agent and shots equal to the soaking power of the shooter. It can be referred to as damage. However, the amount will be halved if the Manhattan distance separating the range is greater than the optimal range of the shooter. The shot will fail distance greater than twice the optimal range, in which case no damage is dealt. Okay, so and this is indeed where like a distance method comes in very handy. Any agents will be present in the list of agents in the input. You might define in the player variable. You are also can the agent be a witness. Agents on the player. So now it becomes a bit more interesting because you have a shoot cooldown. I'm not sure if that's already interesting or well, relevant or not. So again, I'm going to do a record and I call this agent info. And what do we have? Agent ID. Pum, 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 pum. I don't think I need agent ID. I don't even think I need player. Maybe I do. My agent count. Do I need it? Yes, because I have active agents here. How am I gonna do it? I want to know I want to know enemy agents. How is shoot command? The shoot also is we change from one shoot action per turn. Shoot with agents with a given ID. Okay, so I need to know the ID. I'm just gonna give it agent ID and I'll see if I need it or not. ID in player in shoot cooldown in optimal range in soaking power in slash balls. voila, I create my object which doesn't do anything. But at least I can now say here, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do a final. Another question is list or map? List or map? Because here we get information based on your agent ID, so it will be helpful to know that. And another effect which you actually could do is you could even connect it to, you can say agent and agent info together. And this time you're going to say agent info. And I'm immediately thinking of actually splitting them between my agents and as I said, I like doing var keyword my agents and I final var enemy agents. So here I say new agent info ID 11. Yes, it nicely filled it in. And then I do if player is my ID, then I say my agent at agent info else enemy agent at agent info. So we have no targets anymore. And typically what you will do eventually is you will write a finding or a breadth first search, a depth first search algorithm, and then together with scoring or whatever, and then even an A star like me maxi kind of algorithm, maybe you can do for instance, like this is reported, like if you have the shoot and you have the shoot cooldown, and you have a tree where you say like if I shoot now and my cooldown is bigger than 1, well my distance is still too far. So if I shoot now and I come closer, yeah, then I can't shoot, and then I still can't shoot, and then yeah, it would have been better to just not shoot and wait until I'm at the optimal thingy and do double damage compared to those kind of things. So that's where it's at. What you can typically do is you can say like, okay, just play my codes. It's command move. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Okay, it fails. Owner purple, owner orange. Okay, soaking power 100, soaking power 50, optimal range 6. They all have the same optimal range, but they're already pretty wet. So in here you can actually see that they have all enough wetness that they actually would get hit by, yeah, by just doing it once, they would all be dead already. What do? What do I have now? I have agent, I have my agents, I have enemy agents, I have the active agents. This is no longer useful anymore. I should, and that's why I think a map might actually be more useful. Because I don't want to loop over active agents. I want to have a final var enemy active agent. And I want to agents, and here I have to do if my agents not includes, but then you have to do something like this, like a stream filter agent where agent.id equals agent ID, any match. Oh no, the any match has to do it, not filter. Any match agent. Yeah. Else, just assume it's an any agent. No, technically I can, I guess, move this out. Final var agent. There is a, is there a bit of a nicer way to do it? Yes and no. You can say like you could abstract it. You could say like which list to use, and then at the end you can actually add it to the list. But that's not much better. Ah yes, okay. Now I have to do this. My agents. You could also an agent info. Just write a method, as in like public boolean if player is player. You say return desktop player equals player. Yes, boolean if agent. And then what can I say? Here instead of player equals my ID, I can just simply say if agent info dot if player my ID. Didn't say too much in this case, but whatever. And here as well, you can say my agent is stream any match instead of just saying a dot a ID is equal to ID. I can just say agent info is agent ID. The problem is that or is agent, and I can actually say agent, but that doesn't really do much. I mean, like it actually makes the code even a bit more difficult to understand, I feel. But it would be helpful if you have to do it with outside of the loop or outside of the thingy. What I sometimes have done in the past is, for instance, you have agent info. What do you have? You have here agent info, and here you get the agent. What I sometimes have done is like in the agent actually create a public list, a public agent info, and then you say here get info, and you pass a list of agent info. And then actually what this does is it is exactly the same as this here. Return info stream, and then I do a dot filter info dot info I for each info dot agent ID info ID, yes, info dot I dot ID, that's our I dot ID equals ID dot find first, or find any. What to find any? Find first might be an optional. Find first, no, I need to give it really optional. Find first also is optional. Then I will find any, because I assume there is only one. Returns options in the stream or an option. Short to determine the behavior of the operation split on the dimensions. It's free to select any element in the stream. This to allow for maximal performance in parallel operations. If a stable result is desired, use find first instead. Or it should only be one, so I'll do find first. It makes more sense. Yeah, and so the problem is that it is an optional, but it should always return. So I'm gonna just say dot or else throw not found exception. Is that I don't? Is there a not found exception? Nope. Something I would typically write myself. Just do a runtime exception. Again, I'm not interested in writing a whole exception logic and whatever myself for this kind of case. So yeah, I'm also not even going to use this method probably. But I mean, like, this is something you could do, saying, agent, give me the info from a list of it, and then you don't really have to write too much logic to actually match it and whatever, or you have it located within the agent. You could also do the other round. You can say like agent info. You say like here for a list of agent info, give me. For instance, then I could do say like here, public agent info get info final list agent info someone else, and then I can here say final int agent ID. Exactly the same, except you will see that here you only have to pass in one because you already have the agent. Here you have to pass in both the list of information as well as the actual agent or agent ID that you want. Hence, I typically prefer to do this. Well, do prefer to do it this way, not really, because now you're tying your agent with your actual agent info, which is not very nice, because typically you want to keep them separate. So doing it the other way would be better. It's just, yeah. So let's do it the other way. And then here you actually basically have the exact same operation. You say info, so same filtered I. Typically don't like to use I for this kind of methods either, but I can find first. So info dot ID equals agent ID. Maybe I'm gonna rewrite it because an agent ID makes it a bit easier. Why is this now complaining? I don't know why this is complaining. Target cannot resolve to a variable. What do you mean? Agent ID exists here. Info. It's agent info. You should have it. Agent ID is also an int. It's all int. You are full of shit. Nah, I think it should be fine. Okay. So we've done basically nothing yet. What have we done? We've created the list of my agents, enemy agents. Then here I have my active agents. I have the enemy active agents. What do I have? I take my active agent, the one at 0, and I think I'm just going to shoot the closest one. So what can we, for instance, again, what can we do? And we can say here public agent closest to final list agent other agents, and then here we can say other agents dot stream, and then typically you would want to map it. The problem is that mapping it to a distance, then I don't know anymore which one it is. Can I do a map multi? I've never used a map multi within the single multiple objects. No, it's also not the one I want. So a map is a bit of an annoying thing because you lose the original data. And actually, I just want to calculate the value for each of it and still keep it. I don't care what the distance is to my closest agent. I just need to know who my closest agent is. So I'm just going to use a for loop. For, and you can always change it later on. I still often start with just a loop, a simple for loop, and then later on write it, like try to streamify it. It's because this makes it sometimes still easier to express it like this. I say like, okay, of course here I would have a final int closest distance equals integer of max value, and I would say final agent closest agent equals null. Of course, this can't be, neither of them can be final. That wouldn't make any sense. And I say if I do other agent dot location. Here again, you could actually say I have a public int distance agent other agent, and I can simply say this dot location dot distance to other agent dot location return. And here I have int distance equals distance other agent. If distance is smaller than closest distance, closest distance equals distance, and closest agent equals other agents. And then towards the end I say return closest agent. And so you will now see that, like, if just by creating these separate small function methods, I have a distance on my agent. I have written for my agents are closest to. I just give the little other agent, say, like, give me the closest agent, give me the agent you're closest to. Then what I can say now here, I can say is agent of closest to, and I can say not enemy agents, but enemy active agents. And then I say here final agent target agent. This can go there, the system, that's all fine. And I click agent ID. What are you going to do? Throw, hunker down, message text. I don't have any of that. So I don't do command move, but I say, yeah, the command move is maybe a bit ridiculous. Public static string shoot. This is a bit ridiculous, but the idea was more with the move that you would split it up into separate parts. Agent.id, how come my target? I'm not going to shoot myself, but even that one, agent, welcome agent doesn't have an ID. Did I call it agent ID? Agent doesn't have an ID, but it's final agent.id like this. Yes, okay, yeah, it's not a record type, correct. And then here I can, instead of saying correct move, I can say correct shoot. Small letters. There is no reason why to put it in the command shoot. Um, it's just to make a bit of an abstraction on how it actually looks like. So let's play my code. And again, this is very, very simple. If the cooldown will be bigger than 1, I might even did I lose? But there's no way to win this now, is there? Objective failed. Does that even make sense? They have a soaking power of 100, they have a soaking power of 100, soaking power of 100. How can I possibly win this? Test in arena. So this I don't think actually matters too much. I think it's a bit weird, no? You always lose. Of course, I mean it's how can you possibly even win this one? You only have one turn. And the next turn you're dead. I don't think you can win this, which is a bit weird. I'm just gonna send it. I'm not sure what's gonna happen now. My rank is 269 out of 562, and I've only done the first level. And this one I'm already failing. In this league, okay. In this league, you shoot the enemy agent. That's my goal. Shoot the enemy agents the highest witness on each turn using both your agents. That's a bit of a ridiculous strategy. Why would both your agents shoot the one with the highest witness? I mean, like, I understand it to eliminate them faster, but it doesn't matter if okay, so we've written all this code for basically nothing. But again, I have my enemy active agents. So what can I simply do? I can say, and this is something I probably would not put in an agent because there's nothing to do with the actual agent. Although, actually, it's more to do with I don't even have my witness on my agent, do I? Yeah, I have to extend my agent information. I'm just gonna put everything in my agent. Final, what was it called? In cooldown final. And so, for instance, this is the cooldown, the splash bombs. This is something I could put in like a status object as well. Like what's the status of this agent? Well, you have the location of the agent, you have the agent name, the status. He's on cooldown for so many turns, he has so many splash bombs, and he has a certain witness. And the idea is to avoid, why would you do that? Well, especially to avoid this. Final int cooldown, final int splash bombs. Well, to avoid many parameters, that's one. And that's maybe something during maybe next week. Well, although next week we're probably still gonna work or play with this project because it's fun. This dot splash bombs equals splash. That's where my autocomplete ends. That's something like it's already nice that that's the capital. Oh, that's not it. It's already nice that actually this is like some kind of Visual Studio Code IDE because you have platforms where you just get a plain text. There's no autocomplete. There's nothing. That's really horrible. That's also not how you typically would write code. I mean, I guess it does help you with like remembering all of the commands and everything, but it's not very useful because you don't need it. Also, like if you have to do interviews with jobs and whatever, and they also tell you like, ah yeah, okay, you have to write some code, but you can't use the internet. I'm like, excuse me, like you live in a bunker where you don't have internet. Like, of course you'll have internet. Everybody has internet. So instead of agent closest to, what you could do is you could also on the agent info give like a list of agents, and then say, I for this list of agents, agents, but that's a bit weird because it has to be a static. But you could, for instance, do public agent static wettest final list agents. This has certain benefits, and why? And that's all because you actually keep the agent information together with the agent itself. I mean, like you want to find out a list of agents who's the wettest. You could, oh my god, you could of course extract this into like somewhere else. You could write a different class for it. You could inline it. I mean, in this case, it doesn't matter because, yeah, as I said, you only have one file. But imagine this is some code, and you actually want to have it on different locations. Well, I actually need to know who the wettest agent is. Yeah, then this would help. Another thing, of course, is what you can do is you can write a final comparator and then you can just call it, well, I'm gonna static static final witness comparator dot comparing. I think you can do something like this. Limit of comparing function super not for the agent event. So in this case, it is a comparator of agent, and you need to give a function. Alright, I think you can do. I think you can do integer comparing. Oh, there is something with integer comparing. Right, let me quickly look it up. Integer comparing. Tick, 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 tick. Java. Wait. Java comparator. You can write your own comparator. Let me quickly check. Integer.compare. But I don't think the compare actually gives you a comparator. But maybe the compare is. But yeah, you have to bind it. Comparator comparing. Nope, that should actually be the one. Comparator.comparing. Comparator. Why is it not allowed? What do you mean? Does not define witness. The type agent does not define witness. G is applicable here. Because this should okay, this would be a method. I think then yeah, a b. I can also do this as a dot integer dot compare a dot witness b dot witness. Typically this would not be needed if I actually would have written a getF on it. Function alumni. Comparing. What's the problem with the comparing? Comparing gives you a function accepts a function that extracts a comparable sort key. No, you need a sort key. But then I can just say comparing, and I say agent dot witness. No, that's my thingy. Okay, it's a bit annoying that I can't do agent witness. That's because it's not a function, it's not a method. But so this I can do. So either you can say like this, give me the wettest of this list. Of course, now you can also do sorting out by it. So maybe for now I'm gonna make this private, and I can just say agents dot sort, and I say witness is witness, witness, witness only one T. Am I sure witness is only one T? Yes, I'm sure. They also wrote witness one T. Witness, sort witness dot, and then you say get first, and return. Witness cannot be resolved because the witness is about X. I'm just thinking, is that ascending or descending? I think can I now do sorted? Agent dot sort is inline. Then I do collections dot sorted. Whatever agent dot stream. I have to look it up again. I can say here sorted with witness find first, but I actually think that this will be in descending order. So I think I might do re. Can I not do sorted and then a direction? Dot sorted. No. And I can say dot reverse inverse. There was a way to reverse it, I know. There is a sorted, damn it, Java sorted reverse. Aha, okay. It's on the comparator here, so dot, and here I say reversed. That means, okay, again here dot or else throw runtime exception. Again here, typically, no. Typically what you would do here is make sure that you at least have one agent. That's something I would typically do, saying like, yeah, okay, what, you can't give me an empty list. That's not gonna work. But anyway, okay, so now we have this wettest here. So what I can say not agents close to, but I can just say enemy active agents. Oh, actually, I can say agents dot wettest. And that's my target agent. There, pretty good. So the thing is that does it make sense to put this in the agent object or not? Okay, apparently if you shoot the latest one, they don't shoot back. That's a bit ridiculous. I guess that's just to test your solution. Who cares? Not replay testing arena. So should put in agent or not? Maybe not, because there's nothing to do with the actual agent object. Of course, it does have something to do with the agent, as in like it probably wants to use like here the witness and the kind of thing and like all the information you have. So in that sense, it does make sense. So you don't have to cover. So that's why it makes sense to put it in the agent. But technically, I mean, like if you have a comparator, That typically would be enough as well, because then it also abstracts how to do it, and then actually could have done this sorting, like finding the wettest. Yeah, that's kind of an algorithm and shouldn't really belong to the agent itself, because something to do with the agent itself, but it's like a list of agents, and so then you could have extracted it somewhere else. Um, yeah, but I mean, like, there are pro and cons. It really depends on your code and the rest of the code. You have one turn to get both your agents behind the best cover, then shoot the opposing enemy team with the least protection from cover. The game is played on a grid. Each player controls a team of agents of that rating. Cover the agents and shoot enemy agents. Each you have to deal with cover. Each tile of the grid is given to your program through the standard input. For each column of each row, you're given a tile type. It can now have one of three possible types. 0 is an tile, 1 is a tile containing low cover, 2 is a tile containing high cover. Tiles with cover are impassable, and agents will automatically pass around them when perform a move action. An agent that benefits from a cover, see, and this is the whole thing where you can just say, give me the move, give me my target. I give you a move to some far off location, it will move automatically for you. So the passing is actually already embedded in this application. An agent that benefits from a cover will gain damage reduction against enemy shots. Low covers provide 50% protection, high cover 5%. For instance, an agent within optimal range and a soaking power of 74 will only deal 6 witness to an enemy behind high cover. To benefit from cover, the agent must be orthogonally adjacent. Okay, orthogonally, yes, adjacent to it, and the enemy shot must come from the opposite side of the cover tile. The cover is ignored if both agents are adjacent to the cover. So if he would have moved some forward, then that would have been. In case of multiple covers can be considered, only the highest cover will count. An agent orthogonally adjacent to the left side of the cover shooting this agent from a green tile will result in damage reduction. Okay, so okay, it's not orthogonally adjacent to any cover, it does not benefit from damage reduction. Orange agent benefits from low cover, while the purple agent does not benefit from any cover. Why is he low cover, not high cover? I'm pretty sure it's high cover. Neither of these agents benefit from cover from both adjacent. Okay. From this league onwards, your agents will perform both a move and a shoot action on the same turn. Separate both actions by a semicolon, and the assigned agents will first perform the move, then immediately attempt to shoot from the new position. Okay, in this league you will have agents on either side of the screen. They will both be confronted by two enemies agents in a row. They will also be one move away from the outside cover. To beat this league, you must move both agents behind the highest available cover and have them shoot the enemy within range. Okay, so so I guess it's time to make some kind of map. I'm gonna first do cell. Does it even matter? So actually, does it even matter at all? No, I'm just gonna do a map. This is gonna be a record. No, it's not gonna be a record. I'm gonna make a class out of it. That makes more sense. And why is that? Because I want to do a public map constructor of int width, int height, and then here I have a int array cells. And here cells equals new int array width height. Height. So I've initialized it, and then I do a public void set. No, they're all set to 0. So type int x, int y, int cell type, and then I do cells x, y equals cell type. Okay, and then I start reading in here. I say final var map equals new map with height, and very simply I say map dot set cell type x, y. Yes, correct. X, Y cell type. It's tile type. Okay, so it's not, yeah, it works with tiles, not with cells. So tiles, keep terminology correct, and then here I say public. Public location, public list, and then list location, and I say covers, and then I say for tiles dot length. Actually, that's a good question. This should return for int y equals int. What does it return first? Actually, it's a two-dimensional array, but well, I can also just say int. Tiles x. This should be an int array. Height. What's wrong with this one? Of course, yes. Oh my god. Int width equals tiles of length. Int x equals 0. X equal width. Okay. Oh my god. Int this height equals tiles of x dot length for int y equals 0. I could have stored width and height on my map, but this eventually would allow for very weirdly shaped tiles. Who cares? Not gonna happen in this game, but it could. So what do? I say tiles x, y. If tiles x, y is different than 0, this again here you probably would not want to do 0, but you would have here private topic. Well, no cover, you would do something like no cover for 0. Low cover and high cover. And then typically what you also actually want to do is instead of just saying style type here, you have to make sure it's like one of these. This also could be an enum, which probably even would be better. So you have a cover type. And here we do like enum cover, cover, low cover, and high cover. And that's even better. And then the nice thing is, instead of just doing integers, it is correct, right? It's 0 entitile low and cover, yes. So then you're gonna say okay, cover. Maybe I should do all call this style type. The only problem now is that they are not initialized properly, so now I have to initialize them all, which I don't know, do because yeah, normally I would say like here styles dot I think you have an array dot set all, and I can say styles, and then here I say style type no cover. Yeah, because it's a two thing array. So if this doesn't work, it doesn't matter because we're gonna override it. And so for instance here I can say this style type. I'm making it more complex than that it should be. Integers would be fine. If I say if is different from style type dot no cover, there might be other types coming in as well, holes, gaps where you can't move, but they don't give cover. Final star location equals new location, and then I say location dot add new location xy return locations. So now you can ask the map to give you all locations which covers. I'm gonna call this cover location or something. That's better. You could even ask high cover. You could ask low cover. And you can easily make this. Then you easily make this more generic. And you can say probably location, locations of type, and then you can need style type. See, and then you just have the exact same thing, but instead of saying here no cover, you would just say like, wow, it has to match the exact same. And then of course you can make this more generic by saying this, give a list of it, list location, and locations of type, and final list of sets. Okay, set style type, and then here you can say return locations of type, and say set of type, and that's how you would avoid having to duplicate your logic often. And then what you can now do is you can move all of this from here to here, and then here you can say if tiles x y, if types dot contains, then you say locations at, otherwise you don't. And then here cover locations, you simply say return locations of type set of low cover type low cover and tile type high cover. And that's how you reuse your logic to avoid having to write everything multiple times. So now you have one implementation, you've written it once, which can still be changed, can still be optimized probably. You can still make changes with it. And then here you have like now 2, 3, well, you have 2 other versions that make it easier. So the caller doesn't have to always say like, yeah, give me all locations of type, yeah, low cover and high cover. No, just give me all cover locations, and my implementation will do it for you. So like, what's considered to be a cover location? Well, everything with low cover and everything with high cover. You have the more generalized, like, oh, give me all locations of a certain type, in case you want that. But anyway, so I have, yeah, then here I do the style type, and this is funky. I say values, and I say array. This is a bit tricky, not something I would recommend doing this, but this basically relies on like the ordinal and the structure. I think this is 0, 1, and 2, which will work, but it's a bit funky. Definitely not the nicest way to do it, but it's just something that's handy to know. Okay, so I'm not going to shoot the highest one anymore. Okay, there's not a cover action. It's just a move and a shoot. So agent. In this trick, you have one turn to get both your agent behind best cover, then shoot the opposing enemy with the least protection from cover. So what do I need to know? I need to do, I have my agent, and I shouldn't say closest to other locations. I probably want to do a public location closest to final list locations, and then I say the exact same thing. Then I need to max, and it's only say locations for location. I noticed that I didn't finalize the loop parameter. And then I say, well, I don't have a distance method, do I? Yeah, I don't have a distance on location, which I can do as well, of course. Which is again simple, is just return this dot location dot distance location. And then I do have a distance to location. I don't have closest agent. I have a closest location. Location. Okay. What's this raise measure close? Okay, yes. And so this is an annoying thing about Java, and that's the way how generics work. And because generics are old, the compiler wasn't really prepared for it, so you have type erasure. At compile time, you kind of lose information of the generic type. So both these methods actually have a signature closest to list, which doesn't work. So closest to location. That's why you have to give it a different name to identify it. That's why typically if I do something with a list, I wouldn't call this closest to other agents, but I would probably call this closest to agents. Or even find closest agent and find closest location. Find, why? Because it's an action, it's easier. So find closest agent and find closest location. So now we have that. What do we now do? Well, we start assembling it again. So you have your agent, and then here you can say, well, outside of the game loop, I would say map dot cover locations. This is a final list location. This location. These are the cover locations. So we have my cover locations, and then I can say agents dot find closest location of my cover locations. And what I was thinking of was even implementing as the like is within reach. In this case, it's not going to matter too much because my agent can always move just one step. But if you have a situation where you can move multiple paths or a certain distance, then like it's within reach would be. So this is now what's going to happen. We're going to go to the final agent target agent. Oh, is it find closest agent? Yes, I will do find closest agent. So other agents, that's enemy active agents. Did my rank go up or down? 762. Is that only for this specific league or what? I don't know. So he finds the closest location to the agents. He finds the closest agents to this agent. Technically, it shouldn't be the closest agent. It should be the one also from least cover. But for now, this. So what we do here, we say command.move. Not to target, but to location. And then we shoot the target action. This is not exactly what they want, so I think there will be somewhere a level where there will be someone who's covered and I should not shoot them. So it actually means that I what the hell is this? Index 5 out of bounds for, did I give the wrong value? Tile type. Index 5 out of bounds for map locations type on line 113. How can, this is a tile type, how can it, why do I equals? No, I shouldn't do equals. Okay, my bad. So, and this is a loss. Why is that? Because I am shooting the wrong person. I tell him move 1 1, move 11 1. So they do all go for cover, which is good. They could also have gone down. That's fine. Can I? Okay, so you can see by moving up, I shouldn't shoot him. I also shouldn't shoot him, I think, because I think he is covered by all of this, at least from this direction. So what he actually should do is he should, I assume, shoots him, or possibly the other agent as well, because he's fully covered. He is being a bit covered. Maybe that's what the game is indicating, that I should actually shoot the other one, because he's still within. And just like if one turn your ability is behind this cover, then shoot the opposing enemy with the least protection from cover. Well, I guess technically he has the least protection from cover for this person, and for him, yeah, it will also be either him or him, I guess. But then again, maybe the distance is not. That's a good question. But so, and that is where it becomes a bit more difficult, because now I technically have to calculate for an agent whether or not he is covered. The problem, whether or not he is covered, and the location of the cover, but also the direction of it. And that is a bit more difficult to do in like a class-based approach. That's because you need to take a lot more in calculation. The question also is like, if he shoots, I assume he wouldn't be covered by it. What are the actual rules of it? Let's read again. The plane from a agent must be orthogonally adjacent to it, and the enemy shot must come from the opposing side of the covered tile. The opposing side. What's the opposing side? I mean, like, I'm being shot by him, and I'm not being covered because it's not coming from the opposing side. But yeah, well, he's standing here, Am I only covered by straight ahead? I think that's the definition of opposing side. It has to come straight ahead. So now I'm shooting somebody who's fully covered, well, has high cover. But if I would shoot him, he's not covered at all. Same here. If I shoot him, that's bad. But if I would shoot him, I don't think he's covered. I mean, you would think he's covered, but it doesn't come from the opposing side. But then again, how would that work from there? Any other agents to the left side of the low cover? Shooting his agent from a green tile will result in damage reduction. Shooting this agent from a green tile will result in damage. So I am protected if it's from there. So this is definitely okay. So the opposing side is more. An agent automatically adjacent to the left side of low cover. Shooting this agent from a green tile will result in damage reduction. So if somebody stands here, it's not damage reduction. So for instance here, I shoot from too far away. Okay, so it really is opposing side, as in like everything left of this. So he is being covered by me. Okay. So then what you want to basically do, or what you want to find out, let's write, I have class agent. Sometimes I just write like something like this, like class X, as in, because I don't have a good name for it yet, and I first want to try out and see whether this would work or not, whether it would do something useful or not, just to see. So I want to write a public, static boolean is covered. And I have final agent target, final agent source, and I have a final perhaps, and this will be very ugly, but like perhaps the map actually should be something static, you know. I mean, like, but that's also the problem with again, that's the problem with how this code works. I mean, like, you have a main method which initializes your static information, and this is basically where this should end. And from here, this whole game loop actually should be in a separate object. What is this called? This is called class player. Okay, so class player main. I mean, like, this should be, or like, or it doesn't even have to be the same thing, object, but I mean, like, in a new, like, so I would say, for instance, new player dot run game, and then I can initialize my player with my map. I can initialize the player with all my agent information, and that's fine. That's all fun. That's all good. But then I have this generic information everywhere I can use, and then I can say, okay, now I want to use whatever. Then for instance, on my player, I could, is this person now covered or not? Not gonna put too much time or effort into that. Just leave it. Source target, and I say a final map. So passing the entire map. Well, maybe I'm just gonna call locations, cover locations. Yes, I'm gonna just give a list of locations, cover locations. I already have them. There's no point in getting them again. In certain cases, you might want to redo things. That makes the method a bit nicer. Let's say return false, and that would be the first implementation. And then, okay, so now here we also have the whole issue where you say, like, well, where's my algorithm? Somewhere above here. Instead of just saying find closest agent, which is annoying because that would be my enemy agent. It means I have to find non-covered, or I have to sort them. I'll say enemy active agent sort, and then I would say by cover or something. It is saying the least covered. I mean, that's another thing as well. You will definitely see the tendency, which actually at the moment it hasn't been the case yet, but you will see a more of a like, well, so far it's always been easy. Move there, shoot, whatever. It's always easy. It's always pretty straightforward who you have to shoot. But for instance, in this case, also because the map is fully symmetrical, it doesn't matter whether I move up, whether I move down, but it could matter. In case if for instance this cover, well, if this cover here doesn't matter, but for instance, there could be situations where you say, like, well, it's better for me to move down because then I can shoot him from a closer distance. Whereas if I move up, these two are both covered, so I would deal less damage. But if I go down, I can shoot somebody and eliminate him immediately instead of there might be other situations as well where it's better to move to one location, for instance, instead of just, oh, maybe there's one here, but if there are other people here, well, maybe I can better instead move to the right, because now I'm just saying really move to the cover location, which of course you can't move to a cover location. He has to go somewhere around the cover location, and that's what I'm currently not defining. I'm not saying where around the cover location I want to move, but that can have a huge impact. I'm actually not sure if the game is smart enough to find the best spot for the cover location, but that's definitely something that will be the case. So, of course, I have enemy active agents sorted by cover, but that doesn't make any sense because I would also need to know for which agent, and that would be this agent. So, how am I going to do this one? And that's basically this algorithm here is covered. Is covered agent source, and then what you can also do is you can say public agent, public static agent is get not covered target, and then you say final agent source, final list agent targets, and final list location cover locations. These also should be cover locations. And this I have no idea how to do this. What would be the best way to find this? For instance, if there would be an agent here, then he would not be covered, so I can easily shoot him. I can just shoot him because he's not covered. I think what it comes down to is I have to see relative position. Find relative position. Left or right, top or bottom, or up or down, up or down. And so what that means is that he is standing on the left of all of these. And he is also standing on the top of these. For instance, if he has some here, so he is actually being covered by all of them, by both of them. That doesn't work very well. So that's when I have to look at this person. I have to look to the left, and I have to look to the top. That's where it comes down to. And actually, in that sense, see, and that's where the whole thing comes in. Actually, the cover location doesn't make much sense. I don't care about this. If I say target dot location, then I have this x, and I have target dot location dot y. And for instance, in this case, I know I have to look at -1, -1. And then, for instance, I can say map, and x is this, and X and Y is this piece. And see, and that's like passing in the cover locations actually makes that. I mean, yes, it might make it clean, but it makes it more difficult as well because I know exactly where I have to look. And if I would just give a list of locations, I have to loop over my entire location list, all of them, which are a lot, and like most of them don't even matter. Whereas I know, like I know exactly if I have to, where I have to look. I have to look in, well, not just this location. I mean, I'm actually making it a bit too simple. So I know I have to look at the x minus 1 locations, starting from his y minus 1 up until his y minus plus 1, because I'm standing on his left. I'm also standing on his top, so I assume he will also get cover from all of these, because that is this spot. But when? Well, only if I'm standing far away from him. I think there might be an easier way to calculate this and to do it than just like or finding the relative position. There might be, if I do a distance or a vector between them, I might be able to discover that as well a bit more easier. There's no testing. I'm just going to keep it very simple. I'm also going to leave it here for now. But so this is the idea then. Left or right, up or down, you just check your map at the required locations and you see if there is a cover. Check for cover on those locations. And if there are, there are. And then you can say like, yeah, is covered. You might even give, instead of boolean is covered, you can say like get the cover type, because we now have a, well, actually we call it tile type, I guess, and not cover type. So maybe we should give this a cover type. Maybe it has to be two separate enums. Can also be the case. It might even be that we say like, well, instead of just giving is covered, we can actually say like get protection, and then this either gives a 0, 0.5 or 0.75. And then get not cover target basically becomes the one finding with the lowest protection. So this would become a loop for each target find protection, return the one with the least protection. And then technically we actually can, for the exact same thing, you could actually, so instead of get protection, you can say get damage. You can calculate how much damage we are actually going to, how much damage we will deal. And this, well, the thing, of course, is currently they're static, but I assume at some point they will also start moving, and that's when you have to take into account also the opposing moves, and that's when you come into the mini-maxi algorithm, where you say like, okay, well, I stand here, he stands here, okay, what is he? Well, I'm going. What can I do? Well, I can take a turn, I can move, but I think it might be better we move together, I assume. We decide independently from each other what to do. So that's why it's different from chess. So in that case, I would actually let the opposing opponent take a move first. Although we do, of course, move together, which is going to be difficult. But we'll see then. But so yeah, you just assume that he makes a move. For instance, he would move into cover, and then you say like, well, if he moves into cover, then I better also move into cover, or I better move there and then shoot him, and yeah, many options. But so this is a bit the idea that I'm having, the algorithm that I'm have to find, which basically comes down to my like the thing I was writing for location instead of just distance. Just get me a difference, and if x is negative, then I know I'm on the left. If y is negative, then I know I'm the top, like this. Okay, is this saved? I hope this is saved. I can play my code, but there is a compile error. Well, is there a compiler? Yes, there is a compile error. This is still the Yeah, wrong one, find closest agent, which is not correct. It's interesting how he's marking different squares as if he wants me to move there. Ah, because this one offers more cover. Yes, get locus. Yeah. Again here, get find closest location. Well, this is probably not what you want. You don't want to just find the closest location. You want to find the best. You want to find the best cover. So again here you say the location, find best cover. The problem is that you don't know that information because you only have the cover locations, and that's where, yeah, this is this is things that you probably don't want to put on your agents. Well, you do, but you don't. Um, this makes sense. Find closest location. You find the closest location from you to there. The problem is that, yeah, the location doesn't know whether how much cover it offers, because that's also it's the location. It's not a Is it the location that offers cover? Not really. It is the relative position to the other agents and whatever. And so you would have to calculate for this for this location, how much do you offer? How much protection do you offer? Well, in this case, it would offer protection from all enemies because all enemies are on the left. If it would be somewhere in the middle, you would say like, well, you offer 50% or you give protection against this one, but not against this one. There might be one where you have low cover on both sides and only high cover on one side. So which would you prefer? The one where you are protected by half from all four enemies, or getting 75 protection from only two of the four enemies? Well, I would prefer being safe from all four, even though it gives me less protection from each single one. The total protection would be bigger because you have a half, a half, a half, a half instead of only 75, 75, nothing, nothing. So if they decide to kill you, to shoot you, you would still be dead. 2 damage plus 13 witness. 13 witness, why? Because he plus 50 witness. Why is he plus 50? Ah, because he only gets a half, yeah. Because he's. See, so here you can actually see it. So we get this plus 50 plus 50. Why? Because he shoots, he's being protected by this. He shoots, he's being protected by that. It's only 50. If he would move here 75, he would take less damage. He would only have taken 13 plus 13. If he then would have shot somebody else who might be too far away, and that's where it comes into play as well, with like how much damage you take and or how much damage you deal to this person. Um, so there's a lot of going on, and you can't really, and that's where you have a problem where you actually have to rely on so much information. It's not just display these two agents, like, okay, how much damage do you deal based on the distance and whatever, because that's easy. You can calculate location. You can say a. Do they actually not have? That's, I think that's agent information. No, how much they deal. You have an optimal range. Optimal range. It's actually, it shouldn't be optimal range. Should be not maximum range, but should be the max optimal range or something, or whatever. It's a maximum distance it can be. So you have to look into at your, yeah, and that's where it's also weird with that the agent and agent info is with split, because you have the agent info, which tells you more about this agent as well. So you actually should need the agent info as well. But with two agents, you could basically, the problem is like this agent, you could recreate it every time, which is also not the best. But that's just how the game loop works. You don't off and whatever because you always have to read in the new data. This is also not how you write a game. But that's because you have the game, the engine, and you have the commands. You have a bit of an AI agent that gives you the commands. So you're kind of standing outside of the game. And yeah. But anyway, so with two agents, if you would have all the information, you could say like, oh, well, how much damage do I deal with distance and whatever and all of that. But because of the cover, which is not part of the agent, it's part of the map, the world, that becomes more difficult. And so then you have to either pass in your entire map, or what I do here, for instance, like give locations, but that doesn't work um, because even here the whole logic, as in like, oh yeah, just give me the closest location, or give me the closest location is easy because it's only on location, or on the actual physical location. Closest agent as well, easy. But as soon as you want to tell me, say, don't find me the closest agent, find me the agent I can deal the most damage to, and find me the location from which I'm the best protected from all enemies, or from a subset of enemies, but I think it probably will be the best because, for instance, if I'm standing here and there's an enemy very, very far away who would already deal like half damage. How much was the? I don't remember the rule how it was like the damage applied. I think it was like if it's more than this, you deal half damage, and if you deal, if it's more than twice, you deal even less. I didn't write that down. That's a bit annoying. I have to look back. I should have to go look back at it. But so as soon as you say like, okay, find me kind of like the optimal, then you come in with the whole X, which is with my algorithm class, where I say like, okay, the not to cover target is covered, and that takes information about everything. And that's when actually the game world might make sense. So maybe next week we can actually start working on this and say create a world. So this actually becomes class world. And I would also create a public world. And I would say final map and agent info, agent source list. No, I'm still going to call this my agent and final list enemy agent. Why? Because it's just simple. And then here now I can have a private map and a private final list agent info enemy agents. That's a bad name. I think I called them differently. Oh. My agents first, then the enemy agents. What's wrong with enemy agents? Agent final agent info. I'm not saying it's actually a bad name. How did I name them here? I did call them agent info, my agent info. Oh yeah, just active agents, yes. Okay. Whether or not I'm gonna keep this like this, or maybe a map with an ID, that could also be the case. But anyway, and then here you can say public. I'll say public void run. And then this is actually where I would put my game loop. Since here, cover location. I don't care about cover locations. That's just I would say new world, and I would say map my agent enemy agents world, and I say world dot run, and then the actual game loop goes into my world. Okay, I have to give in the, well, I assume, what happens if I just copy paste this? Do I read the exact same data again or not? Because it already has been consumed. Okay, so technically this should still work. If it doesn't, then it means I have to pass in my scanner, which is possible. No, I don't think so. CVS are probably 2 lines in one time. Game summary, what do you mean? 2 lines. What's my output? How do I know my output? Okay, I didn't provide anything. I think it might be because my in.next does not read proper stuff. Okay, then I'm just gonna pause the scanner as because I think that should still work. Let's see. Yes. Okay. So this, it's a scanner. I think it starts reading again from the initial input, which means I would read my player ID. Yes, I probably need my player ID as well. Oh no, I don't need it because I've already read everything in here. And then I only read my agent. No, then I look it up. I look enemy agents. I look my agents. Yeah. See, so currently I don't use any information from the enemy agents actually, which is a bit ridiculous, but that's just how it is. So, and the advantage now is that I don't have to make it static anymore, and I don't have to do this anymore, and then I don't even need to pass in the cover locations. I can just use the map because I have it. Then you say source target. Yeah, and that's how it goes then. Here is all. I don't need to cover locations. I can simply say simple things. Protection rate, which is a double. Return 0.0. Voila. And so that's how I typically would also do it. I make sure that I have a world where I have all my actual static information, which never updates. And then I have the run, who does do the data. And even on the run, what you can actually do is you can read this data, and then you can have a public void turn operation. And your turn would be something like this. Not even my agent counts, but I actually would just base myself on all my active agents. I know my active agents because that's what I would read. I would have a private list agent and say my active agent, and a private list agent enemy active agent. And then instead of just saying my agent count, I can say like my active agents, number of alive agents. Why do I care whether I still have how many active agents I still have? I don't need to know that because you told me exactly my active agents. So you can say for agent, my active agent, or just agent in my active agents. And then I have my agent cover locations. I calculate cover locations. Just this is a bit ridiculous, but yeah, as I said, I don't really need it anymore. Okay, that's a very weird format. So here, this I actually don't care, but I'm just going to do here turn. The only thing I have to do is make sure that I always create a new list. Maybe not new list. I can also just do my active agent dot clear. What the hell am I doing? Up, X, V, X, V. Like with the setup procedure. And this should all work perfectly. Now, well, in this case, it was pretty obvious. What was it obvious? Actually, yeah, because he's not being covered. So in this case, it would have been obvious. You have to move up and shoot him because he's not being protected. Here you have to go down, shoot him, he's not being protected. You're being protected, he's not. He's being protected, he's being protected, he's not. So in this case, it's actually very, very straightforward, very easy. But yeah, so and then here you can just say, not turn, but take turn. Or make move. Whatever. See, and then we have separated a bit the logic as in like initialization. And then we have here the turn initialization. Well, there's always new turn initialization. You have to take turn operation, and then you've taken your turn. Anyway, so I hope this gets safe, and then finish this level and maybe a few more. And I hope to see you then. Bye.